Hello and welcome to the Creative Naturally podcast. This is episode 12. This podcast was formerly called the Fiberkin podcast. It's so wonderful that you folks are here. And I've got some really lovely creative things to share with you guys this week. They're surrounding me on all sides. So I've got some really lovely knitted projects, a few other things which are not knitted as well. Some kind of crochet projects that I've been doing as well. So it's so lovely that you're here. This is going to be a little bit of a bitty episode, I think, just because my housemate is in the house and he's Israeli and quite noisy, so I'll see how the noise level goes around me, and fingers crossed I won't be too nervous because I feel really nervous at the moment. Okay, so I will start with a little bit of info about a rebranding that I've been doing with this podcast. So I decided to change the name from Fiberkin to Creative Naturally. One of the reasons for that is because it's been my dream for a long time to create a blog to go alongside this podcast and just to kind of pull everything together. One of the creative sides of me is that I love to write as well, so it's something that I've always wanted to do, to have a blog, and I think there's a lot of things that you can. It's just a different way of communicating with people, and it's amazing to be able to have somewhere where you can put images and also be a bit more wordy and talk about things a bit further. I had such a lovely response on the chatty section of episode 11 that you can go and check out. It was from around about 2 weeks ago on this YouTube channel, where I talk about body image and how that is as a woman and as a man as well, and my experiences with that. And I had so many wonderful responses to that video, so I'm so thankful for everybody that got in contact with me and just shared their experiences, and just was really excited that I'd talked about it. So the blog, if anything, kind of just adds to that, in that I really want to be able to share what creativity means to me, not just in physically making things with my hands, but also making food and how I dress my body and all the other ways that creativity can be shown through in your life, and talking about creativity and some of the things that we expect of our creativity. For example, I've got a blog post that's just gone live, which is around creativity and our expectations of it to create money for us, which was inspired by a fantastic book by Elizabeth Gilbert, Big Magic it's called. I really recommend that book. So if you want to check out the blog, it is www.creativenaturally.wordpress.com. There'll be a link underneath this YouTube video. I'll also be doing all of my podcast notes on the blog now, just so it's all in one place. So I'll have a link to the blog post with all of the podcast notes, so you can find out the patterns, have direct links to the patterns and the yarns that I'm using. So head on over there. That's going to be the kind of main hub. I've committed to 2 posts a week, so I'm posting on Thursdays and Sundays in the evening time. So if you want to just kind of head over there and check out what's been going on, I've got a few posts now. I've got 2 DIYs, so I've got DIYs for these earrings here, which are some really beautiful little metallic and pink crochet earrings. And I've also got a tutorial for some really cute little crochet booties that I made for a friend of mine, Maddie, and her little newborn. Lorian is her name. She's so cute. I'll actually insert some photos just here. So yeah, if you want to head over to the blog, you'll be able to find out how to make those and also see some other posts that I've been doing which are kind of a bit more chatty. So that is the rebranding and the blog. You can find me on Instagram as @bex_in_real_life. I'll have it on the bottom of the screen just here. You can also find me on Ravelry as Rebecca SJS, which will be on the screen just here as well. Ravelry is a really good way of seeing any notes that I have made, any adjustments that I've made to the pattern, and also just seeing more photos of the projects that I'm creating. I create project pages for every knitted garment that I make, and also link to the designers and the patterns. So it's a good way of getting more information if there's a pattern that you really want to try out, or a yarn, for instance. Oh, I feel like I'm talking fast, so I'm going to take a sip. Okay, so I'm just going to check my notes and see. I think that's everything. Oh, I also wanted to say that there's some exciting things that are going to happen on the blog as well. So my plan for the blog is to also do some kind of, not regularly, but every now and again, to do some interviews with some creative folks, specifically people who are really into ethical craft. And yeah, I have a couple lined up which are really exciting. I'm going to share one of them with you because I know that one's been finalised and I'm just in the process of actually writing the blog post today. So that should be out on tomorrow evening. Tomorrow's Thursday, isn't it? Yeah. So that should be out tomorrow evening if I do my work today. So it's going to be an interview with a fantastic company called the Great Ocean Road Woolen Mill. I don't know if you would have heard of them if you're outside of Australia. They do have an Instagram account now, which I think is just Great Ocean Road Woolen Mill. Sometimes I know that their website is the letters from the first of those words, so www.gorwm.com.au. So yes, they are. It's a couple, and they are. Well, have set up a mill on the Great Ocean Road here, which is probably only about an hour or two away from Melbourne. I met them briefly because they came into the yarn store that I work at in Melbourne CBD when they'd first set up their mill and were looking for suppliers for their yarn. They have now been, I think they are selling now at a really sweet little yarn store called Willarium in Northcote. You can also purchase their yarn on their website as well. But they have created they have a farm where they keep alpacas, but they've also created a micro mill, fully funded by themselves, and their mill is as ethical as they can make it, and it's a constant process for them. If you want to find out more of them, do check out the interview that I'm doing with Isabel from Great Ocean Road Woolen Mill. Yeah, it's so interesting. I really go into what they do to make their mill ethical and some of the processes. But yeah, they're a fantastic company, and if we can support them in any way, then we should. I'm hoping to be able to create a design with their yarn to highlight that. So yeah, that's really exciting. So keep your eyes out on the blog tomorrow evening, Australia time. So that will be Friday morning, midday for Europe and the UK. And yeah, I'm really excited for that interview. I've got it all back and I'm just in the process of creating the post now. So it's really interesting. There's going to be some beautiful photos along with it as well of the mill and the gorgeous animals that are there. So yeah. Now, on to works in progress. Actually, I've got one half-finished object which I'm going to share with you. So, I've been relatively monogamous the last couple of weeks, but I have put a bit of work into these socks. I guess I've got a couple of... I'm going to show you 3 works in progress, but 2 of them I've really been doing a lot of work on. So I have a half-finished object, which is one diagonal lace sock. This pattern is by Wendy Johnson, who's a fantastic pattern designer. And I'm using Gradient Yarns Australia. Thank you so much to, I can't remember your name, sorry, but somebody posted below in the YouTube comments from episode 11 podcast, the website of the lady who created this yarn. Seriously, this yarn is beautiful. The base that she uses is incredible, and the dye job is just stunning. So I would love to get some more of this. As I said last week, I picked up this yarn from Bendigo Sheep and Wool Show. I think it was last month now. And yeah, I'm making socks out of it. It's a merino sock yarn base, so 4-ply, it's superwash, and it's just, I just feel like it's like the perfect kind of honey mustard tone. Sorry, the light's a bit funny because I'm having to record in my room at the moment. But yeah, I'm super happy with how this has come out. I've got a little bit left over from the, I wound it into 2 equal 50-gram balls, and I've got enough left over for a couple of squares, I think, for my Cozy Memories blanket. So yeah, fish lips kiss heel, toe up, so invisible cast on. I'm using my Higher Sharps sock set, which is a 2.5mm 80cm. So I use the magic loop technique for these guys, which I love. If you guys haven't tried doing socks toe up with the magic loop method, I'd really recommend it. And I did a 2x2 rib on the top here, and I cast off using Jenny's surprisingly stretchy bind off, so it's nice and stretchy. And this little project keeper here is to show you how much I've done since the last podcast. So I kind of just hit before the heel last time, so I turned the heel and then started the lace pattern on the back as well and finished this sock off. And I've also cast on the next one. This is living in my little handmade project bag. So this is the yarn, and this is where I'm at with the second sock. So I've done all of the toe increases, cast on toe increases, and then I've done 3 repeats of the lace so far, and it's just plain on the back at the moment because that's going to be the sole of the foot. And these are my amazing Higher Sharps. I'm in love. I bought these from, there's a seller on eBay who sells Higher Sharps, which is probably one of the easiest ways to get hold of them in Australia. I was having a look at some at Bendigo Sheep and Wool Show, but the markup was really high, so I picked them up from this eBay seller, and I think they cost me maybe $12, $15, something like that. But I love them, they're fantastic. I don't think they don't swivel like normal Higher interchangeable sets do, but I'm really happy with them. The sharpness is just fantastic. It really helps to pick up those stitches. I've got an interchangeable Higher set, but it's not the sharp set. I was concerned that they would be really too painful on my fingers, and to be honest, sometimes I've created a little callus on my finger just here from knitting on these socks, so I am having to adjust. They are quite sharp because I do kind of push through slightly, not really hard but slightly, so the repetition, it does kind of poke through a little bit. But just to show you the difference between the Higher Sharps and the normal, I don't know if you'll be able to see so much. So the Higher Sharp is this one just here, and my normal Higher is this one just here. So you can, I think you can see how much sharper they are. Anyway, they're awesome. So if you can get hold of them, I'd really recommend them. I think it will be that some people love them, some people don't, just because of the sharpness. But if you're working on 4-ply yarn or smaller, it's so helpful to have a sharp point. It really kind of gets into that stitch, so you don't have to think about it too much. So that is where I'm at on my diagonal lace socks by Wendy Johnston using Gradient Yarns Australia and their sock yarn base. And yeah, I did a fair amount of work on them last week, and they've been kind of on hiatus a little bit just because I've been doing a lot of work on the next project, which I will show you now. Let's pop these guys away. and take a sip. Okay, so the next project is in lots of pieces. You would have seen this one before. However, I have done so much work on it recently, which is amazing because it's been a long time coming. I think I cast on in June, and it was just kind of sitting there, not getting much done. So recently I've been really doing a lot of work on it. And that is my Stasis pullover. I will insert a picture here of the pattern pictures. So just here. Okay, so this is a pattern it's a Brooklyn Tweed pattern. The designer is called Layla Raab, finally remembered. And it's a colourwork pattern, as you would have seen from the picture. It's got a beautiful patterned yoke and patterned cuffs and also a patterned hem. It uses a 4-ply yarn, and I'm knitting the whole thing on a 3.5mm needle. I'm using, I think, a 3.25 or a 3 for the ribbing, maybe a 3.25. So, without further ado, I'll show you where I've got to. So I've made some pretty good progress on this, I'm really pleased. So, you'll be able to see, I think that this was where I had got to in the last podcast, I'm pretty sure. So this is all that I've done since the last podcast on the body. So I hit the point where you stop and you cut the yarn for the body, and then I did the body first, and then I'm doing the 2 sleeves afterwards, which is the opposite of what the pattern recommends. I don't know why I didn't do the sleeves first. I think I just wanted to get the main bulk out of the way, because it's 4-ply and it's 3.5mm needles, you know, it's a lot of work. So not only have I got the body to where it needs to go, I've also fully finished one sleeve. That's the colour work there. I'll just show you what that looks like on. Can you see that? So super happy with that. I extended the length of the body by 1.5 inches, and I'm extending the length of the sleeves by 1.5 inches as well. The reason being that I'm just a bit concerned that the body would hit just at the wrong point for me. I want it to be just below the hips. So, and also the sleeves, it's so funny. I hate sleeves that end on the wrist bone. Whereas my friend Tara, who works with me at Morris & Sons, that's exactly where she wants hers to end. I love my sleeves to kind of come to here, so I've extended by about 1.5 inches. And yes, so I've done the sleeve, I've also done the body, and this is the second sleeve. So I'm like seriously making serious progress. And that is the dregs of the second ball of 3 of this beautiful Ella Ray lace merino. I purchased this in the sale at Morris & Sons, and yeah, it's so beautiful. It's less fuchsia than it's coming out, more kind of dusty, plummy pink, and then the colour that I'm using for the colour work is School Grey in the Empire 4-ply, which is a Morris & Sons yarn. So yeah, I'm really happy with it. If you follow me on Instagram, you would have seen I did a little tiny little video snippet of me doing my colour work for this sleeve using continental and English style. So I'm teaching myself. I wouldn't say I've taught because it's very much a work in progress, but I can comfortably do it now. I really have to concentrate, and my body's quite tense when I'm doing it. But I have continental style with one hand and then English style throwing with the other hand, and then I'm using both hands and not having to drop the threads to do the colourwork section. It also makes floating the yarn behind quite a lot easier. I don't know if I can show you, let's see. It'll be easier actually on the body. Can you see that? So that's the inside. So the floats are really nice and clean behind, and that's basically by catching the yarn after 5 stitches basically. So super duper simple, really lovely pattern. It's actually a really easy pattern because you don't have to, there's only a couple of places within the pattern where I've been catching the yarn when it goes over 5 stitches, so it's actually a really good first colourwork pattern if you want to learn and you don't want to worry too much about floating your threads at the back, so I'd recommend that. This is my third and final skein of the Ella Ray, and this is the kind of bluey charcoaly grey tone that I'm using for the colourwork. So I'm really happy with that, how that's coming along. Okay, so yeah, that was my Stasis pullover. If you want to see regular updates on that one, then just keep on checking my Instagram account. I've been popping lots of snaps of that as it's been processing. You can also check out the hashtag out of Stasis Cal, say OUTOFSTASISKAL. And a few friends and myself have been creating the Stasis pullover and been hashtagging, doing a little mini cal together, so you can check out all of our progresses there. My third and final work in progress at the moment that I've been working on, I've got a few other things, but I haven't done anything to this time, is the Dance Lightly shawl, which is a pattern by Bunny Muff. On Ravelry. I haven't made a ton of progress on here, but enough to show you. So this is made out of the Manos del Uruguay Fino, which is a beautiful single ply, full ply yarn. So stunning. So it's kind of like a purpley bluey grey. It's coming out a little bit on the purpley side. I've completely forgotten what the colour name is, but I'll write it down below just here for you so you know. And this is where I've got to so far. So since this is the progress creeper for what I've done, so I've only done one lace repeat since last episode. But I'll stretch it out onto the needle so you can see. What it's looking like. Actually, I'll go the other side so you can see the lace better. It's a really beautiful kind of leafy floral design, kind of asymmetrical triangular shawl. You can see that. Let's put it against the white. There we go. Yeah, so it's got this beautiful eyelet detail, and it starts from like 3 stitches on the bottom here, and it just increases up. So you get this really gorgeous kind of asymmetrical triangle shape. Kind of one step up, I would say, from the Magrathea shawl, which I've created a couple of times, which is also a triangular based shawl and has like a kind of nature inspired lace pattern. This one's a little bit more intricate but so beautiful, and I think it's just going to lend itself so well to the Fino single ply. It's so beautiful and squishy, and it will block out gorgeously, and it's got this really cool little kind of picot edge that's being created. So yeah, I really want to put some more work in to this one. I'm kind of missioning through the Stasis at the moment. But yeah, this is going to be a fair while work in progress. I've got a lot of yarn, and I think I'm just going to keep on going until it's finished. So I'm not hurrying through this one by any means. I really would like quite a long shawl. The only other shawl that I have is, it's actually over there, but it's under lots of things. I think you would have seen it previously if you watched my podcast for a little while. It's called the Magrathea shawl. It's by Martina Behm, who's the designer of the Hitchhiker shawl. She's a very famous knitting designer on Ravelry. She sells a lot of patterns. And the Magrathea shawl is a really lovely kind of first shawl to make. I made a couple of them, and they were my first ever kind of shawly, lacy style knits. And I made a teal one of those out of my friend Sophie's hand dyed yarn. I absolutely love it. It's a little bit on the small side. I made it a little bit short. I think I ran out of yarn. So it kind of fits, but I have to tuck it under itself a little bit. And it's quite a bright teal colour, so it doesn't go with everything. Whereas I'm hoping that this project will be kind of going with everything because it's kind of on the grey-blue spectrum. So that is my hope for that project, and I'm really happy with it. I'm looking forward to doing a few more lace repeats. So that's everything that I've been working on this last couple of weeks. I'm just going to check my notes and see if there was anything else I wanted to chat about. Okay, so I wanted to share with you something that I have plans for as soon as my Stasis is off the needles. I'm not letting myself cast on until I finish my Stasis pullover, which is why I'm going to be doing lots of knitting today on my day off. So when I was at Bendigo Sheep and Wool Show, I picked up this beautiful, beautiful yarn. I caked it at work yesterday. Stunning, stunning yarn. I know that Katie of Inside Number 23 would absolutely love this. She was talking about how she's really into the greens. So this is a very greeny teal tone. It's got lots of different tones in there, so it's kind of dappled almost. It's a very tonal yarn, more tonal than variegated, but there's some quite dramatic different tones and colours in there. So it goes from kind of deep greeny teal to lighter greeny teal. And I've got 2 skeins of this. The designer is Gin and Tonic Yarn. It's 100% Australian sustainably grown merino, and it's the Gin and Tonic's yarn's fingering weight. Colourway is the Yarite, and yeah, there's 400 metres per 100 grams, so I've got 800 metres. And yeah, if you want to check out her yarns, they're so beautiful. It's just ginandtonicyarns.etsy.com, and the lady who I bought it from was really sweet. She had a gorgeous stall at Bendigo. Oh my god, I wanted to spend so much money with her. But this is my little stash, and my plan is I've been thinking about what I wanted to make next, and I really would like a kind of open cropped cardigan that I can wear over dresses and things and just kind of shove on over things with a little bit of lace detail. And it took me a little while to decide what pattern I was going to use, but I did just purchase the, what's it called? Sibella cardigan, which I think is a Quince & Co. Carrie Bostic Hogue pattern, but I will correct myself below here if I'm wrong. And here is a photo of the pattern project. Okay, so I am going to be doing a cropped version of this. The cardigan calls for around about 1,000 to 1,200 metres, and I have only got 800. So my plan of action is to do a 3/4 length sleeve to the waist cropped cardigan that I'll keep open but have the buttonholes as well. I'd quite like to have a little bit of positive ease on there, maybe an inch or 2 of positive ease. So I'm not sure yet what size I'm going to be using. I'm a 38 bust, so I might well go for it. I think there's one which is 40 inch, so I might well go for that one. And I'm really excited to cast it on. I think this yarn is just going to be so beautiful. And there's actually a pattern in one of the projects that I was looking through where a lady had made a Sibella cardigan, a full-length one, in almost identical tone colour to this one. It was a very greeny, tealy kind of tonal, variegated style yarn, and almost exactly the same colour, to be honest, but not the same yarn. And it looked so beautiful, and the lace just worked so well. So I'm really excited for that. And yeah, I think so. I'm going to do that. I'm going to cast that one on as soon as I've got the current project, which is my Stasis pullover, out of the way. So that's everything for this week. It's going to be a short and snappy week. I do like to try and keep my podcast down. Yeah, last week's one was very chatty, and it's nice to have the shorter podcasts. So I hope you enjoyed this week. Don't forget to check me out on the blog, which is www.creativenaturally.wordpress.com. If you want to check out what I'm thinking about and what I'm making and what I'm cooking, just me creatively in general. And do check out the new post that will be coming out, which is an interview with the Great Ocean Road Woolen Mill. That would be really cool. So if you want to check out some really cute alpacas, then go and check out that post. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. Please feel free to comment below if there's anything that you would like me to chat about in the upcoming podcasts. I love to get any recommendations that you have. And have an amazing week. Okay, happy knitting. Bye.